bondage is freedom. The sooner you accept that, the happier you'll be. Boom. Now, that's how you start a self-help seminar or, a vampire romance novel.
Please tell me you're not quoting that book again. We're supposed to be discussing On Wings of Blood by Briar Boleyn. Not planning your next questionable life choices seminar. And that quote, in context, is deeply unsettling.
Unsettlingly awesome. It sets the tone. This book On Wings of Blood, it's like nothing I've ever read. Pure, unadulterated genius, like Shakespeare, but with more biting.
Nothing you've ever read? The reviewers literally call it, and I quote, Harry Potter meets Fourth Wing meets Zodiac Academy meets True Blood meets Hunger Games, with a dash of King Arthur, because the main character's last name is Pendragon, subtle as a brick through a stained glass window. The author basically threw every popular fantasy trope into a blender and hit frap.
It's called homage, a loving tribute. Like how my band totally doesn't sound exactly like Nickelback, it's a tribute. Anyway, the author, Briar Boleyn, clearly intended to create the ultimate fantasy experience.
Or the ultimate cash grab targeting reading trends. Potato, let's talk characters. Medra Pendragon, our heroine, wakes up on a pile of corpses. Charming start. And is apparently half-fae royalty who died in another book series.
See? Complex backstory. She's fisty. A badass doesn't back down. Like my Aunt Carol when the supermarket runs out of her preferred brand of prune juice. You don't mess with Carol. You don't mess with Medra.
Oh, she doesn't back down. All right, critics call her incredibly immature, annoying, reckless, and too stupid to live. She talks to her dead mother in her head constantly. Is that badass? Or does she just need a really good therapist and maybe less internal monologue?
It's called processing grief. You're so cold. Unlike Blake Drakharrow, the vampire prince, he's got that Draco Malfoy energy. But if Draco spent less time whining and more time being devastatingly hot and throwing guys in fire pits.
Ah yes, Blake. The male main character described as cold, arrogant, way too gorgeous, and overly possessive. He's a bully. He's violent, hot. One reviewer noted, and I shudder to quote, potential dubious consent, which is...
Dubious consent. Sounds delicious, like a double. Cone ice cream. Maybe chocolate and a violence. Look, he's passionate. He feels things deeply, like that time my neighbor Gary set his prize-winning petunias on fire because a squirrel looked at them funny. Deep feelings. Plus, Blake blushes. He loves his stuffed animal, Neville the Fluffin, a complex man.
A complex man-child who needs anger management and probably shouldn't be near sharp objects, let alone ruling a vampire court, and the stuffed animal. That doesn't scream tortured soul. It screams arrested development. What is he, 5? Are we supposed to find that endearing after he, and I quote a reviewer, unalived a few people?
It's called contrast, like pineapple on pizza. Disgusting to some, genius to others. And don't forget the friends, Florence and Naveen. I bet Florence is secretly evil. That sweet bestie routine. Classic misdirect. She's probably plotting to steal Blake and his stuffed animal.
Based on what? Your inherent distrust of anyone seemingly pleasant. Unlike your undying loyalty to morally bankrupt fictional men, which reminds me of that Twilight debacle.
Don't you dare bring up Edward Cullen's existential sparkle. Blake is different. He's pointier. Anyway, is this book actually good? That's the question, right?
Well, that depends. Do you enjoy 760 pages of repetitive arguments, deadly trials ripped straight from the Hunger Games, and a plot held together by hormonal rage and questionable life choices?
Yes, absolutely. Listen to this review. Blake. This man had me in a freaking chokehold. Like a tornado could have been outside my window, and I would have been too distracted by Blake to even know. See, masterpiece.
And this one? DNF at 20%. The writing is disjointed, the female main character is annoying, and it reads like bad Wattpad fan fiction from 2012. Or how about the person complaining about the AI cover art and the sheer audacity of the Harry Potter parallels? It's divisive, to say the least.
Divisive means it makes you feel things. Like that listener email we got. Dear hosts, I dated a guy like Blake once. He didn't have a fire pit, but he did key my car when I liked another guy's post. 5 stars, would date again? See? Relatable.
That email is clearly fake, likely written by you, and deeply concerning. The point is, the book is problematic. Blake's possessiveness, the violence, Medra's utter lack of self-preservation. It's a mess. But I confess, the sheer audacity is almost compelling. It's like watching a multi-car pile up involving clowns and a truck full of glitter. You can't look away.
Exactly. It's terrible, but I love it. Wait, no, it's brilliant, Blake is, okay? Maybe he's a bit much, but the world building, the descriptions of the, castle gargoyles, top notch. You know what? This book is trash, absolute garbage. How dare they end on a cliffhanger?
You just did a complete 180 in 10 seconds. Are you feeling all right?
Never better time for the ratings. The official Heartbook radio rating system, tailored for this experience.
Fine. Given the questionable consent undertones, the baffling character motivations, and the sheer derivative nature of it all, I give On Wings of Blood 3 out of 10 pending restraining orders.
Weak. I give it 9 out of 10 sentient stuffed animals plotting world domination. And an extra point for the fire pits, so 10 fire pits, best book ever or worst. I don't know, read it or don't.
Right? Well, that was something. Join us next week on Heartbook Radio when we'll be dissecting the controversial new release. My toaster is sentient and slightly judgmental.
I hear it's got a shocking twist ending involving artisanal bread. Don't miss it.
You've been listening, possibly regrettably, to Heartbook Radio.